Hello, hello, hello. So, thinking of entering an ultra? What even is an ultra? What do you need to think about? What do you need to know? Well, let's start at the very beginning. At the end of this video, you are going to know a little bit more about the whole mystery that might seem to be ultra running. You are going to know what to think about. You're going to know what you need to be looking for, and you are going to know some of the things that will help you to make the right decision for you. So, first of all, first and foremost, let's talk about what even is an ultra. An ultra is anything above the 26.2 miles. So it's anything beyond the marathon is classified as an ultra. And usually they go up in different sort of areas. They go up as 50 kilometres. Now, that isn't all that much more than the ultra. It's 32 miles. Than the marathon. Already slipped up. 50 kilometres, which is the 32-mile block. Then it'll go up to 50 miles. Then there's some other distances that you might see. And then there's the 100-mile distance and the 100K. So we've got quite a plethora of different things that go into ultras. Ultras can be all-in-oneers, so an all-in-one-go ultra. It could be over a number of days. And there are many different kind of formats that the ultra takes. Now, the very first ultra that I took part in was a one by Saturn Running. So Saturn Running are a company in the UK that do what I would refer to as a bit of a safe ultra. So it is Saturn is loops. So it's based on loops around a block. The block is usually around about the 5K kind of distance, and you complete loops to whichever distance you fancy. So you can complete loops from anything from the one looper all the way up to running for up to 7 hours is usually their time frame that you are able to run. Now, great way of doing a looped kind of ultra as your first ultra is that it does have that element of safety to it, and you can make a decision based on how you're feeling on the day. There's regular ability for you to connect with an aid station or with crew. It gives you that opportunity to not have to carry quite so much on you, because every single loop round, you're going to be able to restock, you're going to be able to refuel, you're going to be able to change clothes, you're going to be able to do whatever it is that you need to do. The downside of a lapped course is that you may well talk yourself out of continuing, because it's easy to stop because of the loop, because you're getting to the end of that loop and you have that decision to make. So I would say that whilst it is a really great introduction to an ultra, go into those kinds of events, those kind of setups with a little bit of a game plan in place. Now, what types of ultras can you get? You can get the looped type. You can get the multi-day kind. You can also have very different experiences of ultras based on their location and terrain. So there are road-based ultras, so that you can do an ultra that is tarmac, that is, you know, really kind of the normal sort of marathon kind of setup that you would see, and that you can more or less work with the terrain in the knowledge that you are kind of going to be okay. There are some that are on canal paths and that are on fire roads, things like that, that are fairly reasonable terrain. There are some of them that are mountainous, technical, and they all bring kind of really different demands to the plate. So when you're looking at signing up for your first ultra, you really need to think about your own experience and what your run into that period of time is going to look like. So I've done the looped course. I've done a really kind of mountainous ultra in the Lake District, and very, very different experiences, needing very, very different skill sets from me, and being very different in terms of the way that I needed to, one, approach them, two, fuel within them, racing strategy within them, and being able to really prep from a mindset perspective and a training perspective. So think about the type of ultra that you want to do. Now, I'm going to be doing a 100k in July of this year, and I'm going to do a training block series that is going to take you through what I'm doing and how I'm prepping and the stuff that I'm thinking about. And the next video that you will see is the first stage of prep for the ultra. So the things that I'm thinking about once I've signed up for that ultra, and what you need to be thinking about as even before you start to think about your training. So we're going to be looking at that one. We're going to be looking at the different things that you need to be considering. So do you need to run a marathon first is a big question that is often asked. That will depend on the ultra. If you have a look at some different ultra events out there, you'll find that the majority of them do ask that you have run marathon distance before the event, unless it is the looped course type of event whereby you are able to stop at any given point. Now, if you do need to run a marathon before you run that, and you haven't run a marathon already, then you might need to make sure that in your build up towards your ultra that you have that opportunity to put that marathon in and get that in the bag before you run the ultra. Some of them will allow you to have run that in training. Some of them are stricter with their rules and regulations. So it is really important that you check out the race terms and conditions, and that you, if unsure, contact the race organisers to ask them whether or not that is something that you need to do. But usually, as long as you have done it prior to the event that you're taking place in, that is cool. Now, I wasn't a marathon runner, as in hadn't officially finished a marathon before I did my first looped ultra. And I did that on the basis of a training run, effectively. So we were entered to, well, I was entered to run Manchester Marathon in 2020. And in the February of that year, I entered the Saturn running event. And that was going to be my long training run. Then I was going to walk a couple of laps, and then I was just going to see what I could do after that. And I did over the 50k. I think I did about 36 miles. I did another lap after the 50k, and finished the event beyond where my intentions had been. But that also got me the fact that I'd run a marathon. And I'll pop up here. Let's just move out of the way. Pop up here. The fact that I came quite high in that finish list, only on the basis that I ran a long way and not as many people did, or I walked a long way. So yeah, if you do need to add in a marathon before the event, make sure that that is something that you are considering in terms of the timeline running up to the event that you fancy. Make sure that you're looking at whether or not the course is suited to you. Think about, what is the terrain going to be like? Is that something that I'm going to enjoy? Because, you know, when you're going out there to run a marathon, an ultra marathon, yeah, right? We want it to be a challenge, absolutely. But we want it to be the type of terrain that we will enjoy and that we are able to work with. Because, yeah, some of them are bordering on to being more fell races than marathon races. And sometimes that can be a little bit scary. And you know, think about the suitability for you, and then think about where you are right now in terms of your training volume, in terms of your capacity. Where are you right now? Because when you're looking at building up towards an ultra, I've done it with very little build up. I don't recommend that. But you need to make sure that you have got the training time and availability to work towards the event that you're looking at. So often people are booking, you know, ultra races quite far in advance, and they do get booked up very, very quickly. So some of the places to look if you are a UK-based athlete: Saturn Running. We have Centurion, Do Good Events. We have GB Ultras, do really good events. So they are a couple that you might want to have a look at. But generally, having a bit of a Google about and seeing what's around and doing a little bit of digging to see whether or not it is an event that you would enjoy is your best course of action. So I will be coming back in the next video to talk about the first stages of prep for an ultra, the first things that you need to be thinking about once you have made that delicious decision to press that button, press that enter button, and make your bum nip just a little bit. Until next time, when we are going to be doing all about the first stage in prep or for an ultra, please do make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Click the little bell so that you receive notifications. And I would love to know in the comments, have you already ran an ultra? Are you thinking about running an ultra? Are there any particular ultras that are on your mind? Let me know and let's get chatting all about all things ultra so that we can keep that conversation going and we can see what the recommended events are that are out there and what you're actually fancying doing. Get down into the comments. Speak soon. Bye.